I'm driving. I'm driving a car. Ryan is editing me driving a car for no reason. This doesn't set up the video in any way. I just want it to happen. Ah! I'm driving off the cliff now. Ah, explosions! Ah! Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. You know who it is, and it's time for another edition of Let's Argue, where I go on the internet, I take your hot takes, your unpopular opinions, your tough questions, I respond to the best ones, and that is literally what happens, and that's the point of the video. You don't need the point illustrated to you any further, I don't think, so let's do it! Do I think 2023 is a good year for music so far? I think 2023 is a pretty mid-year, honestly. Maybe the most mid-year that I've had since starting the channel, to be honest. Where around the halfway point of the year, a lot could happen between now and December, but I feel like there haven't been a whole lot of huge mind-blowing releases as far as mainstream ones. One of the most surprising ones was the very long Mac DeMarco one, which, I mean, I feel like we need more surprises. We need more left hooks. We need more something. The amount of records that I've really kind of loved and been head over heels for since the start of the year, while, you know, there's been quite a few, it's been a little few and far between. Maybe not quite up to the number I'm usually at around the halfway point of the year, but, you know, it's been a little it's been slightly dismal. But again, this could end up being like a backloaded year. You know, there are some months where it'll be like one yellow flannel after another yellow flannel after another yellow flannel, and I just haven't really had one of those months yet. You know, we get a few good records, very good records a month, I think so far, which I'm not complaining. I appreciate any good quality music that we get. And for sure, I put part of this on myself because I think I could probably be digging for more obscure stuff if I'm not hearing anything that's really kind of grabbing my attention as far as the mainstream shit and some of the you know, major indie label releases. But either way, I'll say this, I don't think it's the craziest year for music. Sharks don't know camels exist. I mean, true, but they have to have at least some kind of, you know, cooperative impact or something. Like, at least one time a camel has to have, like, ingested a water molecule that a shark swam through or had in its mouth, maybe, possibly. Is that how molecules work? I don't know. I'm not a freaking scientist. I have no way of fact-checking myself on this. I'm just going to say it. If people can get behind listening to Porter Robinson, gecs, and A.G. Cook, I couldn't see why they wouldn't dig Ocean Eyes by Owl City, since that album probably influenced those acts. Okay, number one, just because an album or an act influenced something that you like doesn't mean that you have to enjoy it. Two, Owl City is just a blatant Postal Service ripoff, and if you're going to say, like, Owl City was a huge influence on their music, you have to also kind of, like, you know, influence the musical act that is, like, blatantly being aesthetically plagiarized, I guess you could say. And honestly, gecs, A.G. Cook, as well as Porter Robinson, these are artists who are hugely influenced by a vast array of sounds and styles and DJs, producers, bands, especially Porter, who, you know, used to be, I would say in a lot of respects, like a more traditional EDM artist, at least for, you know, the era in which, you know, Worlds came out. I don't know, it just seems kind of silly to, like, bring up Owl City as the act that, I don't know, ties them all together as like a common thread or something. When, I don't know, I hear more songs from 100 gecs that sound like they're just influenced by ska punk as opposed to songs that, like, feel like I'm getting an Owl City vibe. The deluxe to Call Me If You Get Lost is better than the entirety of Call Me If You Get Lost. There's great tracks on the deluxe, but better? I don't know about that. You know, there's some amazing tracks on the original. The Tizo track is fun. The Damo track is fun. And also, you know, Sweet slash I Thought You Wanted, like, that's such an epic progression. Personally, I think you're being dismissive, okay? Okay. If you had to go deaf in one ear, which would it be and why? I don't know. It's such an awful question. There's no reason to favor one over the other. Many people do not give some music a chance because they don't like to be shown new music. They want to be the ones finding it themselves. Yo, this is true. This is freaking true. And what's funny is, like, oftentimes they're still being shown the music at the end of the day. They're just being given the illusion that they're discovering it themselves. Like, oh, I found this song through this TikTok, as if it wasn't given to you by an algorithm. Oh, I discovered this other artist at the record store, as if that record was not purchased and curated to be in the store for you to find. Oh, I went out last night and I found this band. They were booked to play at the venue that you were at. I get that it can be gratifying to feel like, oh yeah, I found out about this band all by myself and nobody else knew about this band. And yeah, it's cool to be early to something that other people discover later and then it gets real hot. That's cool. That's fine. There's like a level of validation of your taste and so on and so forth that comes along with that. That's nice. It's also cool to be introduced to things, you know, and again, as I said, in most cases, you kind of are. Just sometimes it's in a very direct sense, and sometimes it's in a more indirect sense. Your Break-Ins review didn't age well. Well, it's not even aged. It's not even an old review, bro. It's not even an old review. The album is annoying. I don't know what to tell you. I don't like listening to it. I would rather have a migraine headache and lay down and go to sleep than listen to that record. I don't vibe with it. It's not my thing. And I explained why it's not my thing in the review. So yeah, it's a very kind of self-absorbed album. I think it's gross. Sport video game soundtracks are the perfect way to propel an artist's career into the mainstream. I don't know if I would say it's the perfect way, but it certainly is a way, especially since a lot of hardcore sports fans and hardcore sports gaming fans tend to have very kind of mainstream tastes and perspectives and don't exactly spend a whole lot of time looking for underground music or obscure music or left field music. So, I mean, I suppose it could be, you know, like a really cool, almost, you know, ambient way to soften people to the idea of some artists and some genres that they wouldn't have heard otherwise by kind of, you know, do a little bit of a sneaky slipping it real sneaky into a video game. Hey, you're too much of a fucking meathead to listen to LCD Sound System on your own. We're gonna put it in your little soccer game. What albums would be on your daily rotation if you stopped reviewing music? I do try to listen to some music casually when I'm just, you know, kind of chilling, not doing no reviewing. And look, I can't tell you what albums would be in my rotation forever if I never reviewed music again, but at least in terms of like what I've been listening to casually lately, I have actually been going back to Viagra Boys' Streetworms quite a bit. I've also been listening to the last Turnstile album casually. I've also been listening to, again and again, Queens of the Stone Age's Songs for the Deaf. Been playing that one a lot lately, too. System of a Down debut, as well as Toxicity, a bit of Tool, Torches or Torches in Return EP, Pusha T, his last record, I've been playing a little bit as well, and LCD Sound System, yeah. LCD Sound System too. All right, listen, Fondue. I like sweets more than chocolate. I swear to God, I'm just going to start ignoring all blue check marks for this series. Not another blue check. Some say this is subverting the system from within and or biting the bullet, but I think Death Grip's doing a tour with paying customers like me using Ticketmaster/Live Nation to purchase tickets is a semi-slap in the face to us Death Grips fans. I don't, who is saying this is subverting the system or destroying it from within? I mean, look, Death Grips obviously I think have like some pretty radical aesthetics and viewpoints occasionally expressed in their music. It's very left field, it's very aggressive, it's very out there, like everything about it just kind of screams underground and so on and so forth. But like you have to acknowledge the fact that like they've reached a very huge point of popularity. Like they have lots and lots of fans, millions of fans across the globe. And because of that, they can't play like 300 cap venues anymore where nobody gives a fuck. I don't know if you know this, but like there's a greater system here at play with a lot of connectivity between different businesses and parties. It's not just like Death Grips is like, we're going to go on tour. What are we going to do? Let's call up Ticketmaster and then a tour will just happen. You have to consider the fact that there are way more mainstream artists like Taylor Swift, for example, or SZA, and so on and so forth, who are not happy with Ticketmaster, are pissed with the way that their fans have had really negative experiences with these companies, and yet even they are powerless to work completely outside of this system. What instead you should be doing, rather than bitching about death grips on the internet, is you should be contacting your congressperson and tell these people to, like, fucking regulate these pieces of shit. Okay, everybody, this has been another episode of Let's Argue. You're the best. Love you. Mwah. Hugs and kissy wissies. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode and got something out of it. I prayed to the Lord that you got something out of it. I'll see you in the next one. Over here next to my head, it's another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Let's Argue forever.